What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So the Chargers did not exercise their offensive lineman, the interior offensive lineman, Zion Johnson's contract for his 5th year, so he will not be in line to make that $17.5 million. But I guess when you get exercise and it's like the whole guys of that same position, all their contracts added up together, and it's the percentage of that, like the middle of it, then that player gets that. That's why it's pretty big when Drake London got that of the Atlanta Falcons, one of the ex-USC guys I talked about pretty recently. So his contract is good, but once you work out that deal, it could be a lot better. But either way, for offensive linemen, it's still pretty expensive, especially for a guy who hasn't lived up to that first-round hype. And now they're going to be trying him out at center, which is a different position. So we'll find out if that's a good home for him. And if not, then he's most likely going to not return. Because usually guys who don't get their 5th-year options picked up don't return to the team. So I guess we'll find out. And the Anaheim Ducks did make a change at coach. They did let go of Greg Cronin as their head coach. He will not return. And then the GM, Pat Verbeek, said he's going to be active and aggressive in making the team better. And as of right now, that was about a week or two ago, and I still have not heard them hire anybody yet as their head coach. So hopefully that will happen at some point soon, because I think this Monday or sometime soon the draft lottery will happen. So they have like a 7 or 8% chance of getting the #1 pick, but either way, it should still be a top 10 pick in the end. But hopefully that new head coach will be a nice tip of the spear for the Anaheim Ducks finally. And a player recently retired in Pat Maroon. They put it one of his many teams that he played for as the Ducks, so I guess he played for the Ducks, so congrats to him on his retirement. And they did sign a couple of young guys. They signed Ian Moore to a 2-year contract, entry-level deal. I think he's a defenseman. Then they signed, Tim Walsh to a 1-year entry-level deal. I know he got to play in one of those final home games for the Ducks, and it's only a 1 year, so hopefully he sticks around. And he recently won a championship with whatever team he was playing for in college, so that's pretty cool for him. So hopefully he'll be able to stick around and be one of those glue guys. And they signed another guy to a 3-year entry-level deal, and a defensive man in Connor Smith. And it looks like big upgrades are going to be coming out to Orange County and that Ducks area. The Anaheim Ducks owner, Henry Samueli, is investing $1 billion in the city-owned arena. So yeah, that's going to be a big-time upgrade. Has always been called the Arrowhead Pond. Hopefully that is still the case, because obviously they are Ducks. But yeah, we'll see what company ends up giving them more money to change the name. That's what happened with the Staples Center. It's always a Staples Center. It's still hard to call it the Crypto.com Arena. I always want to say Staples Center where the Lakers play, but I have to get used to that. And there was a player that the LA Sparks added recently in Anelli Maley. I think she's from Australia. In one of her last games there, she had 37 points, 23 rebounds, 6 steals, 3 assists, and 2 blocks. So that was a big-time pickup. And then Danielle Robinson has been promoted to the Sparks assistant coach, so congrats to her. And she's also like the manager of basketball integration. And then, yeah, they said they are saying thank you posts to Alyssa Usby, the North Carolina player, and that Anelli Mali player. So I guess they were both let go pretty recently, even though the Australian player put up some nice stats. I guess she wasn't able to make the team, or they're going for more of a veteran route. So I guess we'll see what they end up doing. And then, yes, those great LA Lakers, as I mentioned earlier, they ended up losing. I think that was Game 3, because Game 2 was the last one I talked about. So they lost Game 3 at Minnesota 104-116. Then they lost Game 4 to Minnesota 113-116. That was a big bummer, because if they won that, I think it still would have went to 6 or 7 games in the end. But sadly, the Lakers ended up losing that next game at home to them 96-103. So yes, I guess a big thank you to a pretty inspiring season, especially for it being JJ Redick's first season as an NBA head coach, the ex-Duke player. But they got above 50 wins. And if you really think about it, Minnesota, that's why I was kind of worried about them, because the Clippers and Denver, who played the 4 and 5 series, which went to 7 games too, like all those teams were only like a couple wins away from swapping spots. So yeah, the Lakers had the home court advantage from Minnesota, but Minnesota was just as good of a team as them, and they were pretty hot. They won like a lot of their games going down the stretch in the regular season, and it just continued into the postseason and the playoffs. So yeah, Anthony Edwards is the real deal. We kind of figured that out after last year, him leading his team to the Western Conference Finals, but him doing this right now, and he's going to be playing, I think it was Denver that ended up ousting the Clippers, so at least both LA teams are out. But yeah, either way, that's going to be a big time matchup for him. And playoffs look pretty set and pretty good and competitive all around. So yeah, except on the East, of course, like 3 of those series already had finished, and yeah, there wasn't really any competition, only like sweeps or one game won by the losing team. And then OKC just looks pretty dominant, so we'll see if they can continue that the next round. And I think they get the winner of tonight's game, Houston and Golden State. So I think they're going to advance either way because both teams are playing a bunch of games when they shouldn't have. And yeah, so it's going to be OKC versus Minnesota and Denver in the Western Conference Finals, in my opinion. So we'll see. Thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great day. Bye.